Hello, everybody. This is Adriana with Aurora Sacred Healing. And today I'm going to be making the third tea in our Boreal Forest Medicinal Tea blends. We've done one for the winter, one for the spring. And today I'm going to be making one for the summer. So the summer right now, we have a lot of plants are blooming. We have a lot of the berries that are coming out, and we want to celebrate that. But before we do that, before I touch any of the plants, I want to just start with a smudge and a prayer before we begin. So I have with me here some sage that I collected here in Cranberry, plus some balsam fir and from the spring. I love smudging with balsam fir. So the sage helps clear out any the negativity before I touch the plants. And then the balsam fir is sort of like the cedar. It brings in the positive. So we want to bring in all these good wishes and have those affirmations going into the plants as we work with them. So let's light the sage. I don't like the balsam. I'll just give myself a smudge. Clear my body, mind, and spirit of any kind of negativity. And the balsam fir is going to bring in the positive. And then we smudge the plants we're going to be using today. I like to start off with an opening prayer, kind of honoring these 4 directions with this Boreal Forest blends that we're doing. So Creator, I thank you for another day. Beginning in the east, we pray to the air element to take care of our newborns and to give us patience. We set down tobacco. And in the south, we pray to the fire spirit to take care of the youth and to give us kindness. And we lay down cedar. And to the west, we pray to the water spirit to take care of the adults and to give us tolerance. And here we set down sage. And in the north, we pray to the earth spirit to take care of our elders and to give us love. We set down sweetgrass. Bless all of my relatives, all my relations. Hey, hey, echo say. So in this summer, there's so many different plants to be collecting right now. The first one I want to start off with is the one I wait for all year round. I'm harvesting this one so much as soon as it becomes available. It's my favorite, probably because I always have kind of irritated guts, and that is mint. So wow, does that ever smell amazing. Now, when just for the sake of storage purposes, I don't know if I'm going to continue to do this. I'm kind of worried that when I put them through my NutriBullet, it turns into like a tea dust. I do that just so that I can maximize the amount of mint tea leaves that I can, get into a jar. When I leave them as whole leaves, kind of like, these other ones here, I can't get as much into the jars. However, the tea dust doesn't seem to, I'm not so sure I'm going to do it like this anymore, because I'm kind of worried that you got to really watch that we're not losing those essential oils once the leaves have been kind of broken like that. So I only have this open for a brief time for this video, and then I keep it sealed in a glass jar. Okay. So I'm going to start off with mint, very good digestive aid. The smell just is like an association. And this is going to be the base of my tea. So I'm going to go ahead and give like a full cup of the mint. Okay, so I'm going to put that in of the mint. And that is, it started in the spring, but it's exploding along the shorelines right now. And you'll see those little purple flowers. Watch out, there's a false mint that's out there as well with little purple flowers similar to the mint. But just smell your leaves first of all before you pick them to make sure that it is truly mint that you're getting. Okay, now the second one that we're going to add is in the same type of category as the mint, and that is the wild chamomile. So some people call this pineapple weed. You can see that they're like, they haven't started to flower yet. I'm going to collect them as well once they start to flower. But this one here is also a very good digestive aid. Plus chamomile, a very good sedative effect. So it kind of calms you down at the end of the day. So you got the mint helping with your belly, digesting your food at the end of the day, and then the chamomile is kind of like calming you down. So it could be end of day, or it could be like after work, you want to like de-stress. So I'm going to use this also as a base of my tea, and I'm going to put in a full cup. So this one here, I haven't ground these ones up. I just sort of break them up. Once I dry them in my dehydrator, I break them up just with my fingers now. I've sort of started to do that instead. So I'm going to start to do that with my mint. It smells very good, that pineapple weed and mint. We got a good blend there so far. Okay, now the third one is very good at flushing. This is horsetail. Okay, so horsetail, I dehydrated it. And you'll find this along the marsh, kind of when you're going to pick the mint, you're going to probably find a lot of horsetail. Just be wary of how much you use of this. So I'm only going to put in a small amount. It's very good at flushing out the liver, the kidneys, but you wouldn't want to drink too much of this like all the time, because it does put a little bit of excess stress on the kidneys. So I'm not putting a full cup. I'm going to just use a little bit here because it is good for flushing, but we wouldn't want to take like high amounts. So I'm just doing the smallest amount here. By the way, I do sell horsetail. There's a lot of benefits to it when it's used topically. Very good for the bones, boosting your collagen. So if you have any kind of osteoarthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, there's a lot of topical versions that are really good if drinking it doesn't work for you, or you're kind of worried about having too much of that. Okay, so not to worry here. I just used a very small amount of the horsetail. So we got that general tonic. Now, the next one who's waking up at this time of the year is all of our berries. All of our berries are waking up. And so the one that I have collected here, by the way, for berries, I don't tend to put a lot of like the blueberries and strawberries into my teas. I am making a tea blend of all the different types of flowers, a flower tisane. I'm not even going to pretend to sound French, but for berries, I love making fruit leather and other things with berries. I don't tend to put them into the teas, but their leaves are really good in the teas. Okay, and so this one here these are the raspberry leaves here. And so this is what it looks like. You can see that there. This is what it looks like when I dehydrate them, and then I just crush them up manually with my hand or with a mortar and pestle. And I think I'm just going to do that now. It's a little bit more, you can still visibly see that it's a leaf and it hasn't quite turned into that dust yet. Okay, but I still like the mint like that because a little goes a long way, and I use a lot of mint. Okay, so this is raspberry. Now, raspberry, you probably have heard that this one is really good for like the woman's plant here. So it has the berries are really really good. They're kind of like right now they're sort of past their time. The blueberries are out right now, but this one here is really good at blood circulation, good for your heart, good for stimulating your blood. It's an antioxidant as well, so it's got a lot of good properties in it. Just watch out here. This one's very good at in terms of bleeding, like dealing with like women's menstruation, helping out with that. Just keep in mind that if you are pregnant, you should watch how much of the watch the raspberry leaf. So because of that, like I will sell these teas kind of separately. If you happen to know that you are not pregnant and you want a higher dose, you can buy it separately. But for these general teas of the 4 seasons, I want to always respect, like I want to make it good generally for everyone. So we're gonna cut back on how much of the raspberry we put into our tea, just in case there's pregnant women who want to drink this tea blend, but don't want to have any contractions being stimulated. That is not what I want my Facebook feed to be full of. So I'm putting in like the horsetail, a lesser amount of the raspberry leaves. Okay, stimulate, clean out that blood. Okay, now the next one who I got a lot of, you can see a lot of these teas are kind of like there's a little bit of a bias of the plants that I love to use that I have, and that's why I like to share these, because everything I made is something I use like on a daily basis, and it works for me. I share it with you, but always with that little bit of caution. Now this one here was one that I blended, again, because the flowers take up so much room, but this is red clover. Okay, so I blended this one into a powder. I'm actually going to be using 2 types of clover, and if you can see that picture there, the red clover, kind of more like a purple clover. Okay, and so maybe you've taken time looking for the the 4-leaf clover there. This one here is also good at so if you have any kind of congestion in your lungs or anything, this plant is very good for that. It's a good diuretic, flushing out the kidneys, making sure you don't get any kind of crystals building up in there. And like the chamomile, it also has a mild sedative effect. So I'm going to put in some of the clover into our tea. Okay, and put in about half a cup, about half the amount of mint going into there. Okay, our next one we're putting in is the other, well, actually I have both types of clover. I also have sweet clover here as well. These ones here grow all along the ditches, big, huge, airy plants. I collect the blooms from them and dehydrate them. Very, very strong, aromatic, and they are very sweet. So I always try to put into the teas to balance off a lot of the leaves that are bitter. I always try to put in like flowers or seeds that bring in the sweetness. So this is sweet clover, and sweet clover will make our tea taste like vanilla. So I'm going to put that in there. Put in half a cup. A lot of the, there we go. Get rid of those bitters in there. Okay. So our next one that we're putting in is fireweed. So I talked about fireweed in the spring. We put the fireweed shoots, the leaves, the brand new leaves. By the way, whenever you're picking any kind of leaf, try to always get the young ones, like whether it be a spruce tip or the raspberry leaf or the firewood leaf, try to get the young shoots, because remember, that's where the plant is putting in the majority of all of its vitamins and minerals it's packing into there. So Here are these beautiful fireweed flowers. Now they're very pink when you see them along the ditches, but when you dehydrate them, look at the beautiful purple color that they turn. So let's put some of the fireweed into our tea, make it a beautiful purple color. So I'm going to add half a cup of that. Beautiful. I'm going to have to go get more fireweed. I love that, like in all my teas. It looks so pretty. So we got purple and white. We got a little bit of yellow from the wild chamomile. I'm going to add one more white one. And this one is yarrow. Okay, so another one growing along the sides of the ditch. So when you're going to get your fireweed, you can pick up some yarrow as well. So the yarrow here is, I have a oil right now that I'm using. It has a lot of benefits to your skin if you have any kind of injuries, and an oil made with yarrow and some plantain is like nature's polysporin. It's like an antibacterial, cure up any kind of like dermatitis issue. But it's also very good to put into your tea here. So I also make a tea blend with yarrow with the Weegas. So if you want to boost your immune system, or maybe there's a bug inside of you, whether it's in your gut or in your lungs, kind of trying to build like a cold coming on, the yarrow will help fight that. Okay. So it is bitter. It's not sweet like the sweet clover. So I'm going to, and again, I am making a tea with the Weegas and yarrow. If you really want to, I'm going to call it scare away the cold, something like that. You really want to up the amount of yarrow to get rid of that cold. I will sell this in a higher concentration, but right now I don't want it to overwhelm the fireweed and chamomile in our tea. So I'm just going to put in half a cup of this. Actually, sorry, not half cup. I'm going to put in quarter cup. Okay, so quarter cup. And we put that in there. And those are our different teas here. So we then put our blessings into the tea, our positive energy. Remember the prayer that we started with. Creator, we thank you for these gifts of these plants. Gifts of patience. Gifts of kindness. Help us to be tolerant. To give love. And we pass this on to all of our relations. Hey, hey. And so now when you're preparing this tea here, in your tea kits, you'll find that I give a little cloth bag and one of these little spoons here. So what you can do is start off always with a little bit. Less is more. So you want to start off. We don't know how you're going to react to all these different tea blend, these different types of medicine, especially if you are on other kinds of medication. So we always start off with a little. Okay, so in your tea bag, maybe start off with, 1 or 2 scoops here into your tea bag. Okay, and then what you can do is I like using these spaghetti jars here. So here I have the tea bag is sitting inside the spaghetti jar, and I boiled the water in my kettle and I poured it into the spaghetti jar, and I immediately put the lid on to hold in all those essential oils. So this is a really quick and easy way to do this. Now, if this was the first time you're drinking your tea, you can see I just made this. It's fairly weak. I would maybe start with just try drinking that and see how your body reacts to it. If it's okay, go ahead and let it steep some more. 20, 30 minutes would make a stronger tea. Now a medicinal tea that has sat for a long time full of essential oils is now called a decoction. And if you really want to have a strong decoction, get the most out of these plants, I would like not even drink this tonight. I would put it in the fridge and save it till tomorrow. Try to give it like a full 24 hours to sit inside that bag, inside your water here. Now, after say 24 hours, if you find that the tea is too strong, you can always dilute it, maybe with a little bit of juice like cranberry or orange juice, or add a little bit of water and some lemon. Lemon would be also really good at helping flush out the body. So remember, if you drink the tea and it really is not agreeing with you, in your kits, I also put a little bit of charcoal. The charcoal, you could light the charcoal, and then remember, you could smudge with it. So you can smudge with those plants too. You could try it out like that. So taking it more in through the lungs. And lastly, remember, you can also, these little bags here, this water here could be put into your bath. So you don't necessarily have to be ingesting it, especially if it doesn't make you feel good. You could be absorbing it too, putting this into your bath water. So lots you can do to interact with the plants, get that Mother Nature, connected to your mind, to your body, your spirit. I hope you found this useful, especially if you're trying to live a life where you are connected with the plants, following those principles of living every day sacred, the Mino Pimatasuin, the good life, in balance and harmony with Mother Earth. Thank you for the gifts, and thank you for joining me today. We'll see you for the next video when we look at plants that are available in the autumn. Ekose and namaste.